Ladies and gentlemen, in preparation for departure, please check the
So guys, the lighting is so great right now. I figured right now would be an amazing time to shoot the 5 do's and don'ts of South America. This was recommended by a good friend of mine who said, hey Mac, like, you're going to some of these places that some of us, you know, wouldn't necessarily go to unless we, you know, kind of got some inspiration. And so he's like, make some like safety videos on like do's and don'ts so it can make some of us more comfortable to go. And so I was like, that's a great idea. I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and make one and, you know, see if people like it. And if they do, then maybe I'll make some more of them in the future for other countries. Yeah, basically, like, South America is beautiful. So many places, so many countries, so many things to do. I've only explored like 1/10 of a thousandth of a fraction of it. I've been to Brazil, Uruguay, and Argentina. So as you can imagine, those countries are massive. I've only been to a couple cities in some of those, and so I've only gotten a small taste. But I have gotten some important points that I think you can practice across all of the countries, which I think will be key for you if you're looking for safety tips on things to do and things to not do. Because the last thing you want to do is go to an amazing place, experience amazing culture, and have something dangerous happen to you, your stuff gets stolen. You want to avoid that stuff so you can talk highly about that experience you've had. And so with that, I want to go ahead and share these 5 do's and don'ts. Do not dress like a flashy tourist. If you dress like a flashy tourist, people are going to look at you and people are going to say, wow, this guy definitely must have money. This girl might have money. Let's go ahead and try and rob them. Don't bring out your expensive jewelry. You can wear it anywhere else in so many different countries. And maybe a disclaimer, there are some South American cities you can still do this, and I don't want to say don't ever do this, but if you're looking to mitigate the possibilities of something happening to you, then these are the steps that I'm going to give you. Don't wear your Hawaiian shirt. There's time and places for it. Like where I'm at right now in Cancun, that's a great spot for your Hawaiian shirt. But not every place is a great spot for that because you have a target written across your head. So what you want to wear is just something that kind of blends in, you know, wear less jewelry, wear something just a little bit more casual, not branded, and you can still look great in it. You just don't have to look like, you know, you might have more money than, you know, the person that's targeting you might have. The next tip is you don't want to leave your bag in a spot that's easily snatchable. So like when you're, for example, at a restaurant, you don't want to just put your bag on the side of your chair where if you accidentally look the other way, someone could snag it and walk away. You don't even necessarily want to put it directly tied around the leg of the chair because thieves are getting really good. They know how to get around all these things. They will snip that bag and then they will run with it. So the key is, well, the best thing is don't bring out the stuff that you don't think you're going to use or you don't absolutely need. And then the second thing is always have your bag in front of you or on your lap. So if you have it wrapped around your leg plus it's in front of you on your chair, it's going to make it that much harder for someone to grab it. So doing that is going to reduce your chance of getting your bag stolen. Now, when you're walking in certain areas like subway stations or different areas, you really need to look up the local city that you're at to determine where are some of those sketchy places. And that's going to be a big mitigator itself. But if you go ahead and find yourself in some of these places where pickpocketing or things like that are more common, wear your backpack on the front of you, not in back, because that just leaves an opportunity for someone to go ahead and be able to snag something from you. All right, so this next one is going to be tough to remember because we're all so accustomed to it, at least us in the United States, most of us are. When we sit down for a meal at a restaurant, we always put our phones on the table and just leave it there. Because, you know, in this day and age, you always have notifications coming in, you're always posting on your story. Whatever it is, you always have your phone out, so it's not sitting in your pocket. Do not do that. This isn't just in South America, this is in a lot of places. Don't leave it on the table. Put it in your pocket somewhere safe. Specifically one of those money wallets that goes under your shirt too is like the best place to have it. Because just imagine this. You have one thief that goes and makes the distraction over there. Yells, does something that makes you turn your head and look away. Then you have another thief walk up onto your table and grab all the cell phones off your table and run. You guys look back and all of a sudden your cell phones are gone. You have no idea who just snagged them. That is a really common tactic. And specifically in Montevideo, in the Old Town area, what they'll do is a bunch of young kids will run up to the table and someone else will distract you and they'll just grab the phones and just sprint with them, and you'll be looking around on where did your phone go. So there are so many tactics like this. The key is to not try and stop these people. The key is to just not allow them that opportunity to go after it, because this is what they do every day. At the end of the day, it sucks. They're professionals at stealing stuff, and you don't want to give them that opportunity that easy. All right, this next one is when you need to put your game face on. Do not be walking around looking distracted. What you should do is, if there's a point where you're not sure where to go, just find a spot where you can sit down and look like you're just casually hanging out, and then look on the GPS, then look on whatever. The last thing you want to do is just be staring at your phone, looking like you have no idea what's going on around you and not sure where you're going, because that can open you up to a few things. One, someone can just come and snag something from you so quickly you don't even have a chance to stop them. Number two is then people would know, okay, this is a target I might need to follow. So if you always kind of act like you know where you're going, even if you don't, and then you go step aside in somewhere that's a little bit safer to get your bearings, you're going to put yourself in a much safer situation. All right, the next one here is do not carry large amounts of cash and high denominations of bills. So I would recommend having like a backup $20 US bill or $50 US bill in your sock, and then some of your money in your bag left back at home, and then some maybe in your money purse or money wallet, whatever, like a concealed spot. And that way, if something happens to you, you're not going to be completely out of money. They're not going to know you have a $20 backup bill in your socks, and then you're not putting all of your eggs in one basket. In addition to that, keep in mind, if you have a bunch of cash and it gets stolen, the bank doesn't refund you on that. Whereas if your credit card gets stolen and there's fraudulent activity, usually you'll get that back if you file the claim. That's the beauty of credit cards. So only take out the cash you need, and the extra cash that you want to take out from the ATM, leave it back in your hotel. That will save you so much time, money, hassle, risk, blah, 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 times a million other adjectives if you follow this one. Another thing, when I was talking about the denominations, what some places will do, what some kind of sketchy people will do is they will, when you give them a high denomination bill, they will actually have that same bill but a counterfeit bill. And then so they'll be like, hey, you just gave me this counterfeit bill, and they'll give you that back and make you pay again. So you just gave them this high denomination bill, plus on top of that, now you're paying them again with your other bill, and you're left with a counterfeit bill. So it is absolutely risky to pay with that. Try and get those small denominations. Go somewhere that's well known, like banks, or somewhere else that's an established place. I don't want to give exact locations because this is going to vary per country, but the key there is to go to a trusted source and get lower denominations of your bills. All right, and last but not least, kind of a bonus slash add-on to the last tip was something that I'm doing for all my suitcases. So what I do is I put a copy of my passport, I put a backup credit card, I put a backup debit card, and then I put a backup checks, and I have an envelope in each one of my bags. And that way, if one of my or two of my bags get stolen, at least my third bag still has a copy of my identification. It still has a copy. It still has access to a credit card, debit card. And so I'm in a much better place if something bad does happen. It just goes back to the saying, don't put all of your eggs in one basket. So if you go ahead and split that between multiple of your bags, then if something bad does happen, then you don't have to worry as much. So guys, that pretty much wraps up all of the safety tips I would give you for South America. The key here is if something bad does happen, don't fight back. Violence isn't the answer. Some of these people will hurt you. A lot of them will hurt you if you fight back. Even if you're strong or whatever, I wouldn't risk it. Everything's replaceable, but your life is not. So give it up, don't fight back, but take these steps as ways to mitigate the potential risks you would have from getting robbed. And if you follow these, I can promise you it'll at least reduce your chance. I can't promise something's not gonna happen to you, but hopefully this video helps you in some way, guys, for your planning for South America, or makes you feel a little bit safer about going. It's such an amazing continent. I can't wait to explore so much more of this place. It's not only South America that has thieves and things like that, but I wanted to share this video so that way if you do go and you share some of those same concerns other travelers do, you have a peace of mind on how you can mitigate it, how you can get around it, and how you can have the best possible experience. So guys, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you like that video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see a lot more videos like this, safety tips, travel tips, budget tips, a whole bunch of different things from around the world, hit that subscribe button and we'll see you guys in the next video.